This week, we're going to talk about how Pokemon and the Van Gogh Museum have been dealing with Scalpers, JoyToy has some new action figures up for pre-order that I absolutely love, and Games Workshop announced one of the strangest products I think I've ever seen them come up with. All this and more in this week's Hobby News. My name's Angela, and welcome to Hobby Night. I want to start by talking about the absolutely stunning new action figures that are out now in the US and UK from JoyToy, because they include Lionel Johnson of the Dark Angels, and just look at him, he's stunning. I absolutely love these action figures, and he doesn't just come alone. If you end up getting this particular action figure, he comes with two friends because he's got some Watchers in the Dark, which absolutely is brilliant. It's perfect. It's basically like JoyToy looked at the newest model that came out from Games Workshop featuring Lionel Johnson and two Watchers and went, yes, we shall scale this up and then give it to the fans to drool over. And drooling I am, because I absolutely love the attention to detail on this model. Now, Lionel Johnson is not the only action figure that was recently released of the Dark Angels. If you want even more named characters, well, you can also get Grandmaster Azrael, who also comes with his own Watcher friend, and it looks absolutely stunning. Like, I just love everything about this action figure. I mean, I love everything about all the JoyToy action figures, but Dark Angels look so cool. I love the knight aesthetic. I love the giant wing helmets. Honestly, JoyToy, if you want to do Night Lords for the exact same reason, to give me big Batwing helmets in this scale, I would love you for it. Please, it would be glorious. But we're not talking about Night Lords. We're talking about the Dark Angels and how awesome they are. And this isn't the only named character alongside Lionel Johnson that we're getting. We're also getting Lazarus, who just looks, again, stunning. Now, he doesn't come with any friends, unfortunately, but he does have a big sword, he's got his gun, and he just looks beautiful. And then if you didn't necessarily want a named character, but you were just maybe wanting a company master or something, somebody you can have represent one of the characters that you've had in one of your campaigns or something, sitting on your shelf, well, we also have an option for that as well. And all of these figures, I love them. I think they're so cool. JoyToy's figures in general, I think, are very high quality, completely worth the purchase. And if they keep doing this, if they just keep rolling out more and more named characters, more and more Space Marine chapters, more and more Xeno, more and more Chaos, well, eventually I think I'm just going to have a house full of Warhammer action figures. And I'm not sure I'm upset by that. I want to talk about the Stormbolt Skirmish case, which is a new hobby case that Games Workshop recently announced on Warhammer Community. You can see it here on screen. It kind of looks like an Iron Maiden for your miniatures, and I have some major concerns about this product, and I genuinely do not know what was going through their head when they decided to come up with this concept. Because I literally feel like this is an Iron Maiden for your miniatures, and I don't think it's going to be very safe for them, in the same way that Iron Maidens aren't safe for people going into them. And what makes it even worse is this is a really boring shape. Like, if you're going to do this, if you're going to torture your miniatures by putting them in between silicone rods where they can get dinged up, damaged, and potentially broken, well, at least make it look cool. I mean, like, look at classical Iron Maidens, like real ones. They have an interesting shape. They have a little bit of a neat face there. You know, this one's pretty chill. She's having a good time. This one is happy to see you. There's a little smile there. They want to invite you in. But I mean, really, like, we could have gone with something extreme here, made it look like they were wailing. This is the Imperium of Man we're talking about. And even in Age of Sigmar, I feel like we could have gotten a lot more grimdark with this particular case rather than this, like, square monstrosity that it is. And again, I really do not see how these silicone rods aren't going to inevitably scrape and ding up your paint job on your miniatures. Now, if you're transferring your models around in this thing, potentially unpainted, because that's how you play your miniatures, maybe this would be okay, but I still question that when you put this lid on and these rods come down, are they gonna not just crush into all the delicate weapons or little strands of magic that are hanging off some of the models that Games Workshop makes? And also, there's no way this is going to be big enough for Titans or anything like that, let alone a lot of vehicles or that kind of thing. So I don't see how this concept got through R&D and they were like, yes, this is something we should sell. would you buy this? Because I would not. Like, I look at this and I'm like, that is definitely not for me. I don't know who would use this. If anything, you would think that they want to make like a magnetic carrying case that allowed people to magnetize the bottom of their bases and just sit them on there so they're stable and not moving around. I just feel like either stick with the foam, which doesn't damage the miniatures as much, or do something else, but don't use silicone rods. Don't torture our poor miniatures, please, Games Workshop. On October 4th, Warhammer Darktide is officially coming to Xbox, and with it, Fat Shark has decided to release a myriad of updates that are going across all platforms to try to bring players back into the game, so I figured we'd watch the video talking about the updates. I mean, already, that looks like different moves than what I was seeing previously from the game. Okay, so they have reinvented the classes with new abilities. Excellent. Oh, does the Zealot actually get to like do more zealot-y things now? Because if so, I really like that idea. I'm actually a big fan of holy type classes in games. That's why I often play clerics in D&D. Oh. Okay. Those skill trees look interesting. A lot more engaging to explore and actually unlock potentially. So I'm liking the look of that. I am liking the look of that. God, the music still is so good in this game. I really want to carry around an inquisitorial eye. Oh, I do like the Psyker ability, seemingly. Ooh, that looks interesting. That looks badass. Also, the Force Lightning thing is really, really cool. All right. I'm actually intrigued to see a lot of what we're seeing in this. The abilities look neat. I'm trying to scan through and find the talent trees because this is much different looking from what we got previously. And it is very nice to see. I like seeing a more robust skill tree and making it so that your repeated gameplay of running the various levels ends up being a bit more worthwhile because those points are then going into unlocking this tree, which seems like it's going to allow you to do a lot more things. However, okay, I just want to talk about one of the things that Darktide kind of had a major complaint with, and I felt this, a lot of fans felt this, and while there was some limitations in maybe the skills and the system and everything, and seeing that overhauled is fascinating, I really want to see more of a narrative tie-in. Like, why would I, as this character, or any of these characters that we get to be, why am I doing all the things that I'm doing? In the original game, when it released, we really didn't get to see that much of this strong narrative guiding us through the missions and really giving us a purpose to want to keep playing it, which is a shame because Vermintide, another of Fat Shark's games, also set in the Warhammer universe, but this time just in Old World, does have that. It's got fantastic gameplay, it has an awesome narrative, and it really keeps people constantly coming back and playing it despite the fact that it's been out for ages. And Darktide did not capture people in the same way. And I was really bummed by that because, I mean, it looks amazing. As we're clipping through this, like, the scenery looks great, the vocals are fantastic, like, there's so much to love about this game, and yet I didn't really feel like I was living a 40K life in the game very much, and I really was not eager to keep playing because felt like there was no point to it. So I'm hoping maybe within this update, we're also getting a little bit more of a draw to bring us back in narratively as well, other than just doing a sort of system overhaul with the game, but we'll have to see, and I will probably be checking this out on the channel in the near future, possibly on a Saturday, because I do want to see how they've revamped everything. Hey guys, I just wanted to jump into the video to remind you to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already, especially if you're enjoying the content that you find here. And if you're into the spicier side of the hobby, well, my Only Fanatics VIP page is currently 50% off through the end of the month for new subscribers. So if you're interested in that kind of thing, use the link in the video description below, and I hope to see you there. Now let's go ahead and get back to the video. I want to move now into the world of board games and talk about one of my all-time favorite board game series that is getting a new game coming sometime in 2024. It is, of course, the Undaunted series, as you can see on screen, but this time they're abandoning their World War II setting and going for something a bit more futuristic sci-fi. And I don't know how I actually feel about this. I love the Undaunted series. I love that it's set in World War II. I've played Undaunted Normandy all the way through. I've gotten halfway through Undaunted North Africa, and I really need to pick up Stalingrad because I've heard nothing but amazing things about it. Plus, there's actually a plethora of other add-ons that you can get for the Undaunted games that expand them even further. And I really, really like the setting. I really like the aesthetic of the game, and the gameplay itself is exactly what I want. It's tense. I really start to care about each and every soldier and mission that I'm sending them on, and I want to make sure that I'm treating them well. And it's just this great, amazing feeling that I don't get from a lot of other board games. And now we have one that's set in a sci-fi future where instead of it being soldiers warring against other soldiers in the mud, it's soldiers warring against corporations because an evil corporations have taken over the world. We've gone into space, and the workers who are being abused by those corporations have risen up and they want to take their lives back. And I can totally get behind that. I play plenty of games with similar themings. I'm playing Cyberpunk right now. I just got into Battletech. I get the vibe. However, I don't know if it specifically fits what I picture as part of the Undaunted games. And I think that's why when I initially saw this, I was like, ooh, I don't know if this is going to be a game for me, despite the fact that otherwise the theming I think would be very cool. But they seem like they have removed a lot of the elements that I really enjoyed about the original Undaunted games. And so I'm going to be curious to pick this one up, maybe find out more about it, because we really don't actually know much about it other than this one image where it's Undaunted 2200 Callisto. I almost butchered the name once more, but it's Undaunted 2200 Callisto. And I mean, it looks badass, but it looks also wildly different from the rest of the games, and I'm going to keep my eye on this one. The Pokemon Company and the Van Gogh Museum in Amsterdam have collaborated, and of course, Scalpers have swooped in to ruin it for everyone. Now, as part of this collaboration, Pokemon created a bunch of specific merchandise themed to the Van Gogh Museum to be sold in the museum's gift shop during the collaboration period, including this exclusive Pokemon card that features Pikachu wearing Van Gogh's iconic gray hat. And frankly, if I lived in Amsterdam and if honestly I had the balls to go to the museum and try to get my hands on this, which I do not because I knew it would probably be swarmed, and we're gonna watch a video later, it was swarmed, I may have actually tried to get this because as an art kid, this is just stunning to me. I think it looks fantastic and it's very, very iconic. I would love to own one. But this wasn't the only merchandise that was available. There were also plushies and tote bags and art prints and all sorts of things. And as you can see, Scalpers got their hands on a lot of it, have put it up on eBay, and are selling it all for extraordinary prices. Now, if we go back to our main article here, we can see some of the chaos in action. Just look at how wild people are grabbing at the products, armfuls of things, pushing and shoving people, shouting. It is absolutely bonkers how crazy this got. And I really do think the museum and Pokemon Company maybe should have had a little bit of foresight that this potentially could have been a problem and limited what people could pick up in regards to the product from the museum. Because unfortunately, after this incident, they did try to put a limit on what people could grab, but it still ended up selling out so quickly that they are completely sold out of everything. And that means the scalpers who grabbed all the stuff early on and were able to put it on eBay for extraordinary prices are probably going to get away with what they've done and make a butt ton of money off of people who just want to get their hands on all this cool exclusive Pokemon product because they're major fans and maybe aren't able to get to Amsterdam to be able to get it otherwise, which is a real shame because I wish this would stop happening. I know there's not a huge amount that people can do, although I do think the museum and Pokemon should have had the foresight to tell the museum, hey, we've done exclusive stuff in the past, like with McDonald's, and it's been a little crazy, so maybe limit people to one item per customer per day or something like that, per product that's available in the store. Just make it so they can only get one of everything if they want to get one of everything to begin with, but only one of everything. And they didn't warn them at all. And I think that is a major problem. Anytime a collaboration like this happens, anytime there's something that's collectible, that is exclusive and only around for a limited time, guys, you gotta limit what people can grab, because otherwise you're gonna just have a bunch of greedy people who are gonna try to make a profit off of it, of people wanting this really cool thing because they're desperate for it. Put those things in place first. Speaking of collaborations, Tomy and Warhammer have collaborated to bring us some brand new plushies. And these things are so cute, but they're not coming out until spring of 2024, which I was really surprised by. They've announced them, they look adorable, I want basically one of all of them, and I'm really surprised that we're not getting them in the holiday season. I would have thought that, you know, a Nurgling or a Grot or a Squig or a Gryph-hound would make a perfect holiday gift, but evidently not. We can, however, just look at how cute they are. I really want the Nurgling and the Squig. Like, look how adorable his little face is. I also really like the Grot, actually. He's got a tiny little wrench, and it's just so cute. And even the Gryph-hound, even though this is probably my least favorite of them, I think is just absolutely adorable. And wouldn't you just want to snuggle up with any 4 of these this holiday season under a cozy blanket next to a fire? I know that I would. Well, sadly, you can't, because they're not coming out until the spring of 2024, so we're just gonna have to wait, but I do think they're very, very cute. Warhammer Day is on its way. It's going to be October 14th, and as always, I'm going to be hosting a watch-along party right here on the channel the day of, so that you and I can enjoy the reveals that they're going to share with us together. My live stream will be starting at 5:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time or 1:30 p.m. British Standard Time. Lucky dog, it's gonna be in the afternoon for you guys, but no, it's super, super early in the morning for me, but that's okay. There's going to be tons of reveals, and this time the event seems very focused. We're going to be getting only 4 of Games Workshop's products really focused on Warhammer 40k, Age of Sigmar, Kill Team, and then the one that I'm most interested in, the Old World. Now, the reason I'm most interested in the Old World this time, even though I'm always interested in the Old World, but I'm really interested in it this time is because there's only 4 groupings of things they can be showing us, which tells me that hopefully we will finally get more than a singular mini or even just 2 miniatures revealed of the Old World collection coming, which means that I'm hoping we get a ton of Bretonnians and Tomb Kings to drool over. So if you want to drool over those potentially together with me, join me at 5:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time or 1:30 p.m. British Standard Time. I'll see you guys then. It's gonna be a blast. All right, that has been it for this week in hobby news. Do let me know what your favorite story was down below. And before I head out, I do have a little announcement about the hobby news going forward. We're going to be changing things up a little bit. I haven't fully determined how I'm changing things up, but I just wanted to let you guys know that the news will be formatted a little bit differently. It may not be as frequent. I haven't fully figured out what I want to do with it, but I want to change it up a little bit. So be looking forward to that. Let me know your ideas for how maybe you want the news to be covered in the future down in the comments below. And before I head out fully, I'm going to give a huge thank you to my patrons for making it so content like this can continue to happen. Without your guys' support, we just would not be doing this. So thank you very, very much. And I really enjoy all of our Discord conversations and being able to see all the projects that you're working on. So thank you for sharing that with me as well. I wanted to call that out specifically, and I hope everybody has an absolutely wonderful hobby night. See you next time, everybody.